And now we're ready to actually go ahead and create a three-dimensional model in Onshape. Now every three-dimensional model has to start from a two-dimensional sketch, just as though you were drawing it using a pencil and paper. The first part of making a sketch is selecting your work plane. You can't just put a sketch out in air here. You do actually have to go ahead and select kind of a surface to work on. Now personally I prefer to work top down as if I was going to place my object on a tabletop. So I'm going to click on the top plane, so it's highlighted in yellow, and then I'm going to right click and hit New Sketch. There's also a sketch button in the top left corner here I could click as well. Once I'm in sketch mode, you'll notice that a box appeared and it's asking me if I want to name my sketch. And for organizational purposes, you could name it something like base or whatever it is that you're working on. And you'll also notice that all of my tools have changed actually to drawing tools rather than three-dimensional tools. Now, instead of working in 3 dimensions here, I'm just going to hit my top button on my view cube to kind of change my view, so it's a little bit easier for me to work on. I'm also going to move this window out of the way. Now, to make a sketch, it's very simple as just grabbing the tool you want to work with. There are line tools if you want to draw straight lines, and you'll notice that the software by default kind of snaps 90 degrees. Or if I actually wanted to draw a rectangle, there is a rectangle tool that I could click and drag. If I make a mistake and if I want to actually delete something, I can grab the scissors tool or the trim tool and just click on the lines that I want to delete. If you have a tool selected and you want to go back to your mouse, so for example, I want to click on this line, I don't want to cut it. To exit any tool, all you do is you hit escape, and now by default I have my mouse here, so I can actually click on things and edit different points and stuff like that. So if I were to click on this point, I could actually edit it. I can also right click and delete if I wanted to as well. Now, when you're working with three-dimensional modeling, it's important to kind of know what size you're working with. So by default, Onshape is measuring in inches. So if I were to click in the center here and begin to drag, and I didn't actually click and drag, I just clicked once and moved my mouse, you'll notice that there's a number as I move. That's the diameter of this circle. If I click again, the circle remains blue, and this number's in a box. I can actually type in anything I want on the keyboard and then hit enter and change the size of this circle. Now if I want to go ahead and add shapes or lines on top of other shapes and lines, I could just simply do that by selecting the tool I want. I can then even go ahead and grab the scissors tool and cut out individual features of shapes. Just add a little eye here for my face I'm working on. Now if I want to go ahead and move a feature, so I don't really like where this circle is, I kind of want to move it down a little bit, I can select it so it's yellow, right click, and then the transform sketch entities will allow me to move my shape to a better location. Then I simply double click to confirm. Once you're done actually drawing and making your sketch, you can go ahead and hit the green checkbox and it'll bring you back to your three-dimensional modeling. You'll notice that the name of the sketch is now on the left-hand side here. If I want to go back in and make a change or a modification, I can very simply double click on the name of the sketch I want to edit, and I'm back into the drawing mode.